Yo, it's Don Huddersfield, and today we're going to dive into one of the biggest cultural forces ever to hit Britain. No, we're not talking about Britpop or the Ford Fiesta, Ant and Dec, or even Dean Gaffney. I'm talking about the golden arched empire that somehow went from what's this American nonsense to should we get a Mackey's in the space of a few years. This is the story of how McDonald's got so big in the UK, how it reshaped our high streets, and how it became the unofficial national cuisine of Friday nights, hungover Saturdays and long drives down the M1. McDonald's launched in the US in the 1940s, but didn't open its first UK restaurant until 1974 in Woolwich. At this time, Britain was a very different place. We were still eating prawn cocktails, Vesta curries, and whatever your man bawled for tea. Fast food did exist, but it was mostly chippies, wimpy, and the occasional dodgy kebab van. McDonald's arrived like a spaceship in the UK. Bright colours, fast service, and burgers that looked the same every time. It was the future. And one of the biggest reasons why it became so popular was because it was cheap. British food in the 70s and 80s was variable. You could order the same thing twice and get two completely different meals. McDonald's turned up with factory level obsession with consistency. That meant a Big Mac in Darlington tasted the same as one in London. The fries were always the same, salty, crispy and addictive. The menu didn't change every 5 minutes either. This reliability built trust. Parents knew what they were buying for the kids, and the kids knew what they were getting. Teenagers knew exactly how many chicken McNuggets they could inhale before a trip to the cinema. By the 1980s, Britain was becoming a car nation. Retail parks were popping up, motorways were expanding, and people were driving more, commuting more, and spending more time in transit. McDonald's noticed this and said, right then, we'll put drive-thrus everywhere. The first drive-thru in the UK opened in 1986 in Fallowfield, Manchester, and it was an instant hit. Suddenly, McDonald's wasn't just a place to eat, it was also a pit stop, a place of family treats and get-togethers, and a place where you'd go to reward yourself after the weekly shop. McDonald's was popular with adults and children. The Happy Meal launched in the UK in 1986, and it was a masterstroke. McDonald's knew that kids didn't just want food when they went to McDonald's, they wanted the toy, the box and the whole experience and the feeling of being treated. Then there were the birthday parties as well. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you either had a McDonald's birthday party or you were very envious of someone who did. We can't talk about McDonald's getting massive in the UK without mentioning the most chaotic mascot ever created, Ronald McDonald. Ronald McDonald was a man dressed as a clown selling burgers to children, and somehow, 30 or 40 years ago, this was considered normal. It was everywhere. It was on the TV ads, it was at birthday parties, at charity events, on posters, and turned into toys and put on other kinds of merch. He was basically the unofficial minister for burgers. However, we haven't seen much of him over recent years. A few reasons for this are because there's been more controversy around marketing to kids. There's a creepy clown craze in around 2016 which made him look a bit like a horror villain. Also, McDonald's modernised, and they thought touchscreens and the McCafes didn't pair well with a clown in stripy socks. Ronald McDonald hasn't officially disappeared. He still appears in charity contexts, but in mainstream UK advertising is basically retired. Another reason why McDonald's got so big in the UK was that they mastered British TV advertising. Their adverts are everywhere from the 80s onwards. They weren't just selling burgers, they were selling moments like the family treat after swimming lessons, the after-school drop with your mates, the late-night drive-thru run, and the excitement of your dad bringing home a bag of Mackey's. McDonald's perfected the formula of fast food ads in the 90s and 2000s with catchy jingles, kids running into restaurants, and Ronald popping up like a fever dream. In 2003, there was the famous I'm Loving It global rebrand as well. By the 2010s, things went a bit more serious with their ads. There were emotional mini-stories, soft piano soundtracks, and lots of sentimentality. Lots of people said that McDonald's was becoming the John Lewis of fast food advertising. McDonald's wasn't just happy with high street restaurants either, they kind of colonised the UK. They popped up all across town centres, retail parks, at motorway service stations, in train stations, at airports, in areas near universities, and next to nightclubs. By the 1990s, McDonald's had become a default option. You didn't ask someone, do you want to get a McDonald's? You asked them, what do you want from McDonald's? McDonald's didn't just drop the American menu on us, they made it British, offering things like tea, porridge, mozzarella dippers, and a savour menu for people on a budget. They also leaned into seasonal hype with things like the Big Tasty, the festive menu of McSpicy, and Monopoly promotions. By the early 2000s, McDonald's had hit a bit of a wall because of health concerns, the documentary Super Size Me, and the rise of competitors like Pret and coffee culture. They responded to this by reinventing themselves with new interiors, touchscreen ordering, the McCafes, healthier options, table service and delivery partnerships. McDonald's didn't hesitate to make the most of it when delivery apps exploded. They partnered with Uber Eats and Just Eat and became the default delivery choice for millions. Suddenly, McDonald's wasn't just a place you went to, it's a place that could come to you if you needed it to. And that explains how McDonald's UK went from a single Woolwich experiment to one of the biggest cultural institutions in Britain. It wasn't just the food, it was the consistency, the value, the convenience, the marketing, the drive-thrus, the childhood memories, the rebrands, the delivery boom, and yes, even the creepy clown. I've been Don Huddersfield. If you fancy more deep dives into pop culture and how all kinds of big names took over Britain, stick around, hit subscribe, and let me know what you want me to look at next.